Well, hello everyone. My name is Dar Rath and I'm the pastor at Faith Lutheran Church in Port Elgin, Ontario, Canada. And each week I bring you a story that takes about 5 minutes to watch. And this week the story is from one of my favorite people, Bob Johnston. He's written a book called Autumn Musings at Sunset. And the story that I'm reading today is called Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow. At the first hint of autumn cold weather approaches Bruce County, I prepare to replace my ball cap with a woolen toque. Many Septembers ago, a thick crop of brown hair would protect my head from pre-winter shivery blasts. In summer, that same covering kept an unrelenting sun from frying my scalp. Baldness has now left the highest part of my anatomy exposed to all of nature's nasty elements. Of course, on a few occasions in summer, I reluctantly set aside a ball cap. Such protective attire would definitely draw a withering stare from the bride and her mother when I show up to officiate her classy wedding at Gobles Grove Beach. Wikipedia informs me that I once owned between 100,000 and 150,000 hairs, each with a lifespan of roughly 5 years. My problem, like so many other men, was that the daily losses of these worn-out veterans began to far exceed the numbers of their incoming rookie replacements. I was soon bald. Baldness can be a difficult side effect of chemotherapy or the result of certain skin diseases. That is not a laughing matter. The rest of us have encountered a much more common problem, male baldness pattern. The culprit is dihydrotestosterone, DHT, a hormonal byproduct of testosterone. Our hair follicles apparently are overly sensitive to DHT and begin to shrink, eventually causing almost total hair loss on the top of one's head. Admittedly, that above paragraph sounds very scientific and impersonal. In real life, my daily situation can be fraught with challenges apart from that hot sun and cold wind. For example, should I consider my bare scalp an extension of my face and wash it with soap? Or do I still use shampoo, even when there's nothing left to benefit from its promise to thick hair or to manly fragrance it excludes? Can I still unselfishly volunteer to have my hair cut off for charity when I have none? Must I continue to pay full price for a haircut when the job only takes 4 minutes? Am I condemned to always walk downward so the comb over won't be blown off my scalp? To be fair, there are often overlooked advantages to being bald. Consider this list of good news. During annual summer visits, my grandkids have nowhere to hide on Grandpa's head. By morning bathroom ritual to far quicker meant I no longer have to dry my hair. I've stopped spending money on combs or gel. I no longer start each day by anxiously looking into a mirror and worrying about going bald. Unfortunately, the belief that bald men have an abundance of manly testosterone has been disproven. Of course, I remain personally convinced there are always exceptions to every rule. The good news is that the beards of bald men are not affected by the curse of the DHT. We can still demonstrate the ability to grow hair somewhere else on our heads. Another cause for satisfaction is that so many young men in Owen Sound are evidently so impressed by my look that they are making fashion statements by shaving their heads. When I do despair about my fate, I can always turn to the immortal words of that ancient Roman philosopher, Lucius Seneca, who defiantly replied to any unwarranted, unwelcome ridicule, "I don't consider myself bald. I'm just taller than my hair." What a wonderful story. Thank you so much, Bob, for sharing that story. Do you know what? We have 2 boys, and my husband shaves his hair off, even though there's not much there. He also has male pattern baldness. And our two sons, of course, shave their heads off as well. So they have joined evidently the look that you're in a fashion statement. They're following that you mentioned, Bob, in your article. So thanks for writing that, Bob. And thanks so much for listening and watching. And thanks for taking 5, and blessings on your day.